All right, up until this point, okay, we've been talking about straight chains and or just straight up hydrocarbons. So when you hear that term, what does hydrocarbon mean to you? A compound with just hydrogen and carbon, okay? So what can happen is, I think we explained it in this fashion last Thursday, okay, which will be, no, I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago this Thursday, when Mr. Paulson was here, or if he's not here in this classroom, if Mr. Paulson or Mrs. Paulson or Mr. Crisp or Mrs. Engel today, anytime those individuals are here in school, what does that mean to you? So when you say substitute, you're not wrong, but can you elaborate that or clarify that just a little more? So they are substituting or replacing the teacher that is in there. So what that means then in your fashion or in this explanation, okay, and I've always just used 3 carbon compounds. I don't know why. It's just one of the aspects that I've always felt most comfortable with. And to put that into context, if you are perhaps getting ready to, I don't know if you have to warm up playing the drums, do you? Maybe. Do you have to warm up if you're playing the clarinet or a brass instrument? Yes. Do you have to warm up in athletics? So if you don't have to warm up playing the drums, why would you need to warm up playing volleyball? Wouldn't you have to do that for the drums then too? Okay. But what we mean by that is you just feel more comfortable going through a certain process where there's track, whether it's volleyball, whether it's basketball, whether it's band, whether it's chorus, any one of those, you just pick something that you're most comfortable with. So what my point is, I've just always done this. I don't know why. It's just something I've always felt most comfortable with. So we have learned this so far. What is everything that you can tell me about what has been written up on the board? They're hydrocarbons, that's one.
Some of them are multiple ones.
Okay, some of them are unsaturated. They've got 3 carbons. How many families do you see?
3.
There's 3 families up there. This is what family? No, I don't need the specific name. I just want the family. This is an alkene. Okay, what's another organic family?
The triple bond is alkyne.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't see that one on mine.
And then the other one, that one's alkene.
Now, that only explains what the organic family is. Okay? When it gets to be a lot more complex than this, okay? This would perhaps be an example. Okay? What happens is, does that have anything in common with what we see up here?
Yeah, it's C3H.
Really?
It'd be
Or
like
no,
C3H5
C3H5.
Okay.
plus that or something.
How many Fs?
3.
Okay. Let me see. So when we say it gets to be more complex, why is this compound different than this one?
Because the hydrogens, he's got 3.
So then what has happened and the seniors would learn this, okay? And for those of you who maybe take this class, this type of level, when you do the reactions, that's what we call an elective class. You don't take any electives until your junior year. And what do we mean by elective? Do you have to take it? No, you do not have to, okay? So with this, even though this might not look that complex, but it actually is. Has anyone ever had to, you go to whether it's a hospital or even a clinic, they'll say, breathe this in, and all of a sudden, you wake up 2 hours later. Yeah, this is a type of anesthesia. Yes?
No, you finish the thing. I'll finish it.
Okay. So how do we know that these are not hydrogen atoms?
Because it has to start with an F, not an H.
So are these specific elements?
Yes.
Yes, they are. What element or elements?
Fluoride.
Okay, fluorine, or you would say fluoride. But this is, you don't need to know, it's called halothane. Halothane is a type of anesthesia that you would breathe in. It is a gas that it doesn't shut down the nervous system. It just allows you to relax, and you're so relaxed that you fall asleep. Okay? So since hydrogen is not present on here anymore, we call that a what?
Substitute.
These are substituted hydrocarbons, okay? So what has happened is the hydrogen has been substituted by fluorine, okay? So that's not the only type of substitution that we would talk about. I guess I didn't need to erase all of it. Is that a substitution?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Okay? And this is a classification or organic family known as alcohols. Okay? So, is it possible? No, it wouldn't be possible for you within the next few years. What type of shot do you get? Okay, so we're talking about shot here. Okay, that would go in here. Say that again. How did you even know that? I didn't even give you any clues as to what it would possibly be. I mean, I didn't think anybody would come up with that. Tetanus shot. So the reason I said that maybe some of you might be thinking about getting a tetanus shot is you probably had received the first one maybe about the age of 4 or 5, and this vaccination lasts about how long?
10 years.
About 10 years. Okay? The downside of anyone who's ever received a tetanus shot, whatever shoulder you pick from, probably pick your left one. Because if I had to get a tetanus shot in my right shoulder, you don't want to do that. It's hard because it will hurt. I don't know why. And that's probably with anybody. It's just a natural reaction that your body has at that joint. It is really, really sore. Okay? So, and have we changed organic families? That's still alcohol. It's just a different type of alcohol, because what happens is the nurse will say, have a seat up here on the what would you say, table, bench, whatever. Okay? They open up this packet, take a swab out, take this swab, and do that. Oh, maybe you don't want a shot. Who needs a shot?
I do.
Okay?
Now definitely needs a shot. I think you're gravy.
Okay? So then take this. Okay?
That's the scariest part.
What is this? Yeah, they're sanitizing it with not just an alcohol, but what you've heard of it. Which one? No, they're not. It might.
Stuff that when you
It's a type of alcohol
elephant toothpaste.
because what are you doing? Rubbing. It's rubbing alcohol. It's called isopropyl alcohol. Okay? So some of these compounds that you deal with, they actually have practicality to not just your everyday life, but just substances that are probably important enough that you consume that you just don't even realize. How many of you have? Yes.
What makes up in the Y and E, like prefix at the end?
A triple bond.
Triple bind.
Right there.
Is it saturated or unsaturated?
Unsaturated. Anything with a multiple bond is unsaturated.
Okay. Dry skin. Is that anybody?
My step coaches.
Okay. What? I didn't hear what you said.
It's
My
step
stepdad.
Okay. So with that, don't write this down.
So we need to come back for Jamie.
Oops.
Oh, that's lotion.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a 2. Okay. This is what we call oleic acid. Okay. Oleic acid is a component that you put in lotion. I believe coconut oil is a very good source of oleic acid. And I would be led to believe, I don't know how accurate this is, but like oil of Olay. Have you ever heard of that before? What is oil of Olay? And it's a type of lotion that you would put on your skin, and it's going to cause hydration to take place because your skin is dehydrated, so you want to do just the opposite, so you want to hydrate your skin. Okay? So this is a different type of classification of an organic family. Okay? So again, some of these compounds have practicality in your everyday life. We just don't, there's no reason to talk about them, because if you did, it'd be, oh my gosh, this is really, really boring. Who would say that? Nobody would. Good. Just one? Okay? All right. So that's not too bad then. So when one or more of its hydrogen atoms are replaced by other atoms, we call that a substitution. So we saw an example of that where halogens can replace hydrogens. So that is a substitution. Okay. Need to hit pause for just a moment here. Okay, so the reason I say that is the best way we can try to make sense of that is, you have done this from time to time, and maybe both of you have, but you ladies sitting here in the front row, okay? There used to be a container right here.
Lotion.
That was lotion. Wasn't your lotion.
But you used it.
So whose lotion was it?
It was
And it had, so it was labeled on top, had her initials on there, AM. It's not just the type of lotion you use in the morning, it was just her initials. I'll pause while everyone stops laughing. Right, AM only used in the morning.
And it says initials are AM also.
They are. That's right. Okay. So the reason when you had said is that what icy hot is, it's just a component of it. Like this here. Okay. I don't believe. Does anyone in here work with dairy cattle? I don't know why you. Some of you might. But what can happen is the udder. Okay. Where is the udder on dairy cattle? Does anyone know? Yep, it's a portion of their mammary glands, how they would feed their calves. Okay, so you have the udder along with TEAT, just one, or TEATS, four of them, as you call the teats on the udder. Okay, but that udder can dry out, so you would take this substance called bag balm and just place that on their udder. I think that's an application of that. So when we make that hand cream, the same component that you might use as a farmer, you combine this with stearic acid, with triethylanimalylene, that's hard to say really fast, and then there's one more, mineral oil. Okay? So one way to look at that, mineral oil will help your skin, but when you start combining different substances in, it just makes the overall product better. Okay? But could you use this on your skin? Yes, you could. Yes.
Is ethyl a prefix too? Like for the end of the word?
No.
No.
Okay. So now yes, you could use this on your skin, but the spreadability really isn't very good because it would feel very greasy. But you can use it. But that's why you put other ingredients in there. One helps the skin moisturize. One helps keep it on your skin. The other makes it more easily spread on your skin. Then another one would probably be, why do you buy particular lotion? Because it might smell good. This really doesn't have a smell. You might think it smells bad. It's still sealed. This came from the veterinary clinic in Del Rapids because that's the source that we use for that. Okay? All right. So then I think if you decide to take this class as a senior, freshman class.
Well, no, what would the class be called for the senior class?
Organic and biochemistry.
That's what he was asking. What about
Oh.
like the stuff we did like first semester?
That was physics. That's motion. No.
So it was easy. I like it.
Okay? So then I think okay, we're going to stop when we get down to here. Okay? I do. This will work. This will work. Because I think I used the last one. Can you catch?
No. Yes, I can.
Then just leave it on the desk when you're done. Does everyone have this content down to here that wants it? No. Okay? Am I standing in the way? Okay?
Mr. Mechanic, can I show you something?
If I said no,
If you said it,
yes,
what happened?
I would just say standing up here.
Oh, I'd probably ask later.
Okay? Now, does everyone have this content that wants it? Is there a lot to write with this?
Yes. Because the first one doesn't have a line for it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't do that.
Well, looks like it might be a little more time.
Now, sometimes history just keeps repeating itself. Okay? From last semester, since but some of you had mentioned that, when it is cooperative learning good?
Yeah.
Okay? To an extent. Good way of looking at it. Because that is significant. Why? Because maybe last semester you might be working with someone, then you write down what they have. Is that a good idea?
No, because then you don't.
It can be. Okay? But, so since this was up on the board, typically I just use 3 carbon compounds. But what would this be called? What classification of... Okay, it's an alcohol. So it's not that this is derived from anything. You would still follow the same pattern. How many carbons?
2.
What is the prefix for 2?
Let's go here.
Those are derivatives. Like that? Well, that's what you said. It was 2.
What? What's before propane?
Oh,
Methane. I said
Okay?
for 2? Methane is 1.
But that's not ethane, though, is it?
no, because it's an alcohol.
Because it's an alcohol. So how do we change? Okay?
Ethyl. Wait.
No, that's a derivative. Ethanol. Okay? So once you see this,
So 1 is an O.
okay, this means alcohol. Okay? So here's the trick question. Do we say 1 ethanol?
2.
No.
How many think it's 2 ethanol?
Oh, never mind.
Is it 1 ethanol?
It's just
Yes.
You can just say ethanol is fine. Okay? So what happens if we do this then? It's not ethanol anymore.
It's propyl. That'd be propyl.
That's a derivative. Propyl is a derivative. So if this had 2 carbons and it was called ethanol,
it wouldn't be like
you're adding 1 more.
it wouldn't be propane because there's only 7.
It's not propane either.
Propyl.
It would be very similar to the one we just did.
Propanol.
Propane,
Between ethane and propane?
No.
propanol. Okay? All right. What happens if we do this?
There has to be butanol.
Why is it?
Butanol.
butanol. And if you put another carbon on there,
Hexanol. No, pentanol. It's ANOL. Is that what you're getting at?
well, true, but now we've got, okay, what happens if we do this now? Pentanol, okay?
Hexanol, hepanol.
So let's go back down to this.
So now.
Now this is still propanol, but where is that organic family located? It's on the second one. Okay? This would be 2-propanol. Okay? So the same thing happens if you do this. This is based on prior knowledge. Okay? What is that called? What's your parent chain?
2-methylpropane. 3.
What's your parent chain?
3.
Well, I know, but what's it called, the parent chain? What's the parent chain called? Propane. Okay? Is there anything branching off of that?
Yes, sir. There is 2-methyl. 2 methyls, huh? No, it's great. That's not how many there are.
Okay?
How many there are? No, if there was 2.
All right. So, this example, does this make sense? Okay? So then, again, this is based on prior knowledge that you're doing the same process when you're naming alcohols. You're just telling where it's at. So, what does OL mean? That means alcohol. What does PROP mean? 3. What does number 2 mean? That's where the location of that alcohol is. All right. So, vocabulary. Papers are due tomorrow, so we will catch up to you next time. Please do not fall behind on this, because I'm not saying it doesn't get any better, it just gets more difficult. We'll catch up to you next time.